James Zheng here, biblical business coach. Today, I'm going to be talking about a daily wisdom principle. We're going through how to achieve quantum leaps in 2023. So if that sounds like something interesting to you, like this, share this, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. We go live Monday through Friday around this time. And my commitment is that if you follow these principles, you will be able to achieve the most incredible things in your businesses, lives this year. And today we're going to talk about the topic of how to bulldoze through what's called your terror barrier. Has anyone noticed in life that it seems like whenever you make a big decision, you set a new goal for your business, you make a new decision for your life, it seems like almost immediately challenges and tests seem to come out of nowhere. Put a 1 in the chat if you've noticed that before. It's like you're super fired up for the new year. You're ready to go. You're ready to grow. And boom, kids do something weird. Or you go through a big challenge. Or something happens in your life. And if we don't know how to counter these things, great to see everybody, then you're going to be stuck for the longest time on this yo-yo growth of excitement, motivation, movement, being stuck and going back, and you're going to be stuck in this cycle. And we have to understand how to deal with this. This is called the terror barrier. Bob Proctor, mindset coach, says the terror barrier is the part that we're actually dealing with, right? In fact, even personally, as I'm going through this year, we have major goals for our businesses, our lives. We're closing on a house. We're launching things in our business. We are launching a book. We're doing a lot of different things. New year, new us, right? In the last 24 hours, it was interesting. I noticed that not 1, not 2, but 3 different circumstances happened to me that laid me on my back. Maybe you've had one of those situations already in 2023. If you have, I feel for you. And unless I understood these principles, I'll tell you this, I probably would have quit on my goals. Unless you understand these principles, you're going to quit on your goals as well too. Because the terror barrier is something that is inevitable to happen. So we have to understand, if we want to beat the enemy, we have to know what the enemy does and how the enemy plays with things, right? So what's this terror barrier and why do these things happen? Okay, so the terror barrier is when you're making a change in your life. Understand, the biggest battle in our lives happens within our minds. That's what a quantum leap is all about. Overcoming yourself so you can actually get to new levels of awareness, thinking, and activity and results in your life. So if you understand, we have a conscious mind, you have a subconscious mind. Our conscious mind, our subconscious mind it compromises 95% of our thoughts every single day. Did you know we think 60,000 thoughts a day? 95% of those are the same exact thoughts as the ones that were yesterday. So that's why you can make a goal, say, I'm going to make more money, I'm going to grow in success, I'm going to lose some weight, and you can consciously want to make those decisions. However, the next day, very shortly, boom, your subconscious mind kicks in and it's like, let's not do that. I want to be the same. If you've heard the saying of old habits die hard, it is true because we are a product of our subconsciously held belief systems. And even though we want to do the right thing, as we make those changes, the subconscious wants to hold you back. So when you make a decision, what starts to happen is you start taking that action towards your new business goal, your new financial goal, your new health goal, whatever that it is. And all of a sudden, your old self wants to kick in. And it's like, nah, here you go. You'll make a directional change. You'll make some new calls for your business. And boom, negativity will come out. You'll start to make a new direction and a new strategy, and boom, you'll get some type of rejection. Isn't that interesting how that works? And you have to understand that these things happen every single time you're going for a quantum leap. It's normal. In fact, tell me a situation in your life or in other people's lives that have succeeded in anything where they just had a smooth sailing trip to go exactly where they're at. I don't think that works that way, right? In life, we are naturally going against the grain. If you want to succeed, if you want to grow, you got to go against the grain on things. So if we understand that these are normal things that happen, that this terror barrier is something that happens, then let's just prepare and let's retune this, let's retweak this, right? So you have forces in your mind that happen. You also understand too, if we live in a spiritual realm, there's good and evil. And the evil doesn't want the good to win, right? I call it God and Satan. You might call it different. But just know that we have things working against us in our mind, subconsciously, in our spiritual realm, spiritually. So we have to know, how do we actually deal with this and bulldoze through the terror barrier? Because if you know what to expect and you know how to reprogram this, then it's not to say that you won't have challenge, but the time and the effort that it takes for you to be able to move through these challenges are going to be a lot more quickly. Okay, what do? Here's a couple specific things. Number one, change the question. Change the question. Instead of asking yourself the question, why is this happening to me? That's a natural response, isn't it? Challenge comes, rejection comes, failure comes. God, why is this happening to me? I get it. And it's okay to complain, it's okay to gripe, but don't linger there. Change the question is to how is this working for me? Not to me, but for me. Not to me, but for me. So it's important to change that question, because if you can reframe the challenges that are inevitable, the terror that's inevitable that's happening here, then you can actually start to move into a different direction. So yesterday I was going through, and one day 3 different circumstances were just flooring me. At first, my reaction was, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why is this happening to me? This sucks. However, then I started to ask the question, how is this happening for me? What am I supposed to learn from this? How am I supposed to grow from this? When you start allowing yourself to ask that other question, you start to allow yourself to grow into different places. So, for example, I had a door that slammed shut on me. I'm like, how is this working for me? You know how? Well, maybe God is closing one door so he'll open another door. Right? Have you thought about that? You know that God's denial doesn't mean that your dream is done. It just means that he's moving you into a different place. We've all had situations in our life that in hindsight, that rejection ended up being the best thing that happened for you. So why not during this time frame too? I think sometimes we forget the things that happened in the past, right? We forget that the rejections actually are the best things that happened. What if that rejection right now, that denial, that failure, that challenge right now was the best thing to happen for you? So I look back, I'm like, you know what? No, there's good things. It's God's rejection is just his misdirection, is the saying, right? So I'm being directed, redirected. So that's okay, right? So let me be redirected. That's okay. Let me do that. I don't know the right way. A quantum leap means that you're not going to know the plan ahead of time. A quantum leap means that you're going to take it step by step by step. So just be okay with being guided. So number one, change the question from why is this happening to me to how is this happening for me. Number two, be aware of what's actually happening. Just be aware that you're fighting against the grain. Be aware that you're fighting against your old paradigms, your old subconscious habits. Be aware that you're fighting against evil sometimes. Be aware that these are normal things in life, and it's okay to have that struggle. It's okay to have that challenge. It's okay to have denials and rejection and failure. These are a normal part of life. Jim Rohn says, don't wish for less challenges, wish for more wisdom. Don't wish for the less challenging life. Don't wish for the easier life. That doesn't lead you to success. That doesn't lead to quantum leaps. Wish for more so you can grow more. Pam said, how can I grow from this? Absolutely. How can you grow from this challenge? And start to smile. Start to smile. Start to look at these challenges and be like, oh, it's right on time. When these 3 things happen in 24 hours to me, I'm like, right on time. Right on time. So instead of being like, oh my gosh, why is this happening? You just be like, all right, cool. It means you're on the right direction. Have you ever thought about it that way? That if you have a challenge after you set a major goal, it means you're going the right direction. That's great. That's how you grow. So don't be surprised. Don't be taken down, but start to look at things in a different place. And the last thing to do during this type of situation, when you're going through the inevitable challenge and you're facing what's called this terror barrier, is to then go to imagining your goal being already done. See, the promise of the future, Jim Rent, is an awesome force. And the way to break through the terror barrier, the way to break through these inevitable challenges is we need a promise and the hope of the future. All right. It says in the word that there's plans to prosper us, not to harm us, right? Plans for good, not for evil. These are important things to look at. So you have the ability to imagine. You have the ability to act as if it's already done. So with your major goal, your quantum leap goal, your business goal, your life goal, your financial goal, what does it feel like to already have it done? So yesterday, I'm floored by these 3 different circumstances, one after another after another. Have you noticed it's interesting? It's like life knows exactly where your limits are. It's like maybe one thing won't take you down, 2 things will take you down, but the third thing on that right place in the right time. It's like, dang, why does it have to be that straw that breaks the camel's back? It's like it always happens that way, doesn't it? It's because we want to grow. The purpose of life is to grow, right? So that's how this test works. So I'm there. I'm taking a little bit of a step back. I'm like, okay, this is kind of crazy right now. Whew, let's take a breath right here. So I start to think, all right, why is this happening? How is this happening for me? I start to grow in awareness and understand that this is just how it works. And the last thing I start to do is I start placing myself in my imagination with the goal already being done. I started imagining the house being paid for and funded for, moving in. I started imagining our team exploding. I started imagining our book being a best-selling book. I started imagining all the things being done. I started imagining the testimony that I was going to give on how amazing and miraculous this quantum leap was. And in hindsight, I'm starting to look at the challenges in the test that I'm going through. I'm like, that had to happen that way, and just laughing at that. And I started to feel the emotions of joy and victory and success. And start to be like, wow, this is incredible. The mind is incredible. You can trick your mind to think something that is not yet here to already be here. So many times we use our imagination in the negative direction. So many times we're using our imagination to take that doubt and that fear and that worry and concern, and it leads all the way to the opposite side that keeps you stuck in the terror barrier. But what if we changed that and actually acted the other way? What if we actually used our imagination to imagine the things that we wanted to be done to already be done? What if we actually allowed ourselves to believe in a different way? When you start to do that, you start to then think different thoughts, think different actions, start to do things in a different way. And to end this story, after I had those 3 situations that floored me as I'm going towards my quantum leap, and I'm sure you're going to go through them as well too. Almost immediately, I started getting other opportunities. Someone reaches out to me and say, hey, James, hey, I was taking a look at that business. I think it's time for me to connect back. Like, great. I got another idea for a TikTok, for example, that's now starting to go viral. Awesome. I start getting renewed hope and joy and fervor and everything, right? Because you see, ultimately, when you face this terror barrier, what are you really doing? You are facing your old self and you're breaking through so you have new levels of awareness and thinking and activity. But the only way to get there is you have to go through the challenge of the barrier. So if we know that we're going to go through this anyway, why not bulldoze through it? You apply these 3 things, you will bulldoze through it. To sum up, when you go through the inevitable challenge, switch the question from why is this happening to me to how is this happening for me. Number 2, understand that there's this awareness that these are things that happen. You're fighting your old self. You're fighting evil sometimes, right? You're fighting against nature. And number 3 is imagine the desired outcome to already be done. Allow yourself to go there. And you'll start to see how you start to navigate into the right directions there. So if you're committed to bulldozing through your terror barriers today, put a 2 in the chat. I'd love for you to make that commitment to yourself. And if you are, I'm so excited. I promise you, stay committed to these. I come on live every Monday through Friday. We're going to have quantum leap coaching on these, okay? We're going to go through these things together. I can't wait to see your changes in your businesses, your lives, and everything that you're going for right now. So if this did impact you, be sure to subscribe to this YouTube, like this, share this, and keep on tuning in. And can't wait to hear all of your success stories. Love it. Other than that, everyone, God bless. Have an incredible day. We'll talk with you all soon.